Alleiria's preparation course, A Fairyland Tale, and the prequel to The Twinkling. For this visit to Fairyland, we go back 12 years before the events of The Twinkling. Of course, we follow the lore established in the intro to that tale and expand on it. Of course, this particular tale is about to begin. Alleiria was a young fairy in her late adolescence in the fairy world. She was 500 years old, which was 12 years away from her transition into adulthood, which marked the beginning of her preparation period for that moment. All her life she dreamed of going out into the human world on missions, which she'd grown up being warned could be dangerous, especially for young fairies who are new to the job and are currently in mission training with an assigned fairy mentor. She knew all this from her years at Fairyland School of Magic, her secondary school years anyway, the 55 years of study between the ages of 290 to 345 years old. This was also when she would have earned her wings, shortly after starting her 12th year at SFE. That's Secondary Fairy Education of SFE, which she would have started when she was 301 years, 2 months, 1 week old. This meant she first entered the school at the tender age of 74, as fairy children began their primary school years at that age, and finished it at 290, just 2 months before moving on to their secondary school years. Anyway, she was now in the final years of her adolescence, and while legally allowed to use magic within Fairyland, she was still underage and was allowed to take unsupervised visits into the human world, but was forbidden by fairy law from using any magic during those visits, which means going undercover in her human form to blend in with the humans. She knew any minor breaches of the fairy code resulted in a 2-month sentence in fairy prison, while serious breaches resulted in harsher punishments, ranging from exile to execution, based on how serious the breach was. It was, for example, illegal for fairies to mate with humans and have offspring with them. According to Section 17 of the Fairy Code, this was a breach serious enough to result in the offender's exile from Fairyland. Underage fairies revealing themselves to humans was a serious breach of Section 1 of the Fairy Code, which resulted in the same punishment. Alleiria thought these laws were stupid, but she abided by them like all the other fairies. So she was a law-abiding fairy citizen. She shared her hopes and dreams with anyone who would listen to her. As she passed the school, she saw a young fairy boy using magic outside the grounds, which was against Fairy Code Section 1, as fairies had to be at least 500 to use magic within Fairyland. You shouldn't be using magic outside school, little one. To legally use magic within Fairyland, you need to have left school and be at least 500 years old, she told him gently. When she arrived home, she began studying for her twinkling, which she knew was going to be a 12-year course set by the Fairy Council, and the elders would not be happy if she was wasting their time. Her father Sirius noticed how hard she was finding it to concentrate, and out of concern sat down to coach her through it Her mother Starla even pitched in, and with their help, she buckled down and studied hard, and on her 512th birthday, she received her graduation certificate along with the time of her twinkling ceremony, which was to be held in 2 hours' time. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching and have us a magical time.